knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together.
Losing the two most important people in her life, her husband and daughter, shattered Vanessa Bryant's world. Since that heartbreaking tragedy, it seems Vanessa is still struggling to move on. This disturbing new footage just leaked, and she looks completely broken. There's a lot of drama going on with her right now. Let me break it down. The tragedy and the betrayal. On a foggy Sunday morning in Calabasas, California, a Sikorsky S-76B helicopter carrying 9 individuals crashed into a hillside, killing all on board. Among the victims were NBA legend Kobe Bryant, 41, and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna. The other victims included John Altobelli, his wife Carrie, and their daughter Alyssa, Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, and her daughter Peyton, and the pilot Ara Zobayan.
Also on board, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others, on their way to Kobe's Mamba Sports Academy in Newbury Park for Gianna's basketball game. Kobe was expected to coach. This photo was taken at the gym filled with kids who had been awaiting Kobe's arrival.
The National Transportation Safety Board would later determine that the pilot likely became disoriented in thick fog, violating weather-related height rules. The news of Kobe Bryant's death came as a shock, spreading across the globe. For his widow, Vanessa Bryant, the tragedy was compounded by how she learned of the devastating news. According to her testimony in later legal proceedings, Vanessa first received RIP Kobe notifications on her phone while trying to contact her husband. She experienced the additional trauma of learning about the deaths of her husband and daughter through social media hours before receiving official confirmation from authorities. Vanessa was engulfed by unimaginable grief. Losing her beloved husband and young daughter at the same time felt like an insurmountable nightmare. Yet, as a widow and a mother to 3 other girls, she had to somehow remain strong. The public memorials and tributes showed an outpouring of support, but only Vanessa could understand the depth of her personal heartbreak. Every day was a struggle to push forward through the pain, to be present for her surviving children while mourning the pieces of her heart that were gone. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, Vanessa Bryant specifically requested that Sherry Alex Villanueva secure the crash site to protect the privacy of the victims and their families. The Sherry assured her that the area would be designated as a no-fly zone and that measures would be taken to prevent intrusion by paparazzi and unauthorized individuals. Vanessa trusted that the dignity of her husband, daughter, and the other victims would be respected during this unimaginably painful time. Approximately 1 month after the tragic helicopter crash, a Los Angeles Times investigation revealed something deeply disturbing. The report disclosed that at least 8 Sherry's deputies had taken or shared graphic photos of the crash site, including images of human remains, using their personal cell phones. These weren't photos taken for legitimate investigative purposes. They were unauthorized images captured and distributed for what would later be described in legal documents as personal gratification. The revelation came to light after a bartender in Norwalk, California, led a complaint with the Sherry's department. The bartender reported that a patron had overheard a Sherry's trainee showing crash site photos to a woman at the bar in an apparent attempt to impress her. This deeply inappropriate sharing of sensitive images triggered an internal investigation within the department. Further reports would later emerge about the extent of this misconduct. According to court documents and testimony, the photos were shared in various inappropriate settings. A deputy showed crash photos to a woman at a bar to impress her. Another deputy shared photos while playing a video game with others. Multiple deputies and trainees circulated images among colleagues at the Lost Hills Sherry's substation. A re-captain showed images during a cocktail hour at an awards ceremony. A re-Oshel reportedly showed images to colleagues at the Los Angeles County Fire Department. The scope of the photo sharing remained uncertain, as Sherry Villanueva ordered deputies to delete the photos to avoid discipline, a move that was later criticized as potential destruction of evidence. Villanueva claimed this order was given to prevent further dissemination of the images, but critics argued that it limited accountability and hampered a thorough investigation into exactly how many people had viewed or received the photos. It's important to note that only the coroner's OCE and National Transportation Safety Board were authorized to photograph the scene. The actions of these deputies and raiders represented a significant breach of protocol and professional ethics. When Vanessa Bryant learned about the unauthorized photos, she was devastated. The knowledge that such sensitive images of her husband and daughter were being treated as entertainment exacerbated her already profound grief. In an Instagram post addressing the photo scandal, Vanessa expressed her outrage and distress. "I am devastated and heartbroken by the conduct of those RST responders who had the responsibility to protect the dignity and privacy of the victims who perished in the tragic helicopter crash in Calabasas." She continued, "Not only do we have to mourn the loss of our loved ones, but we have to get to ensure that they are treated with dignity and respect even in death." The emotional toll of this discovery was immense. Vanessa had already been struggling with the overwhelming grief of losing her husband and daughter. In a previous Instagram post about her grief journey, she had written, "My brain refuses to accept that both Kobe Kobe and Gigi are gone. It's like I'm trying to process Kobe being gone, but my body refuses to accept my Gigi will never come back to me. It feels wrong. Why should I be able to wake up another day when my baby girl isn't being able to have that opportunity? I'm so mad. She had so much life to live. Now, on top of this immense grief, Vanessa had to contend with the knowledge that the dignity of her loved ones had been violated by the very people who were supposed to protect it. The pain of loss was now compounded by feelings of betrayal, anger, and anxiety over where these photos might appear. In September 2020, approximately 8 months after the crash, Vanessa Bryant led a federal civil rights lawsuit, case number 220, CV09582, in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. The defendants named in the lawsuit included Los Angeles County, the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, and unnamed individual employees who had taken or shared the photos. The lawsuit alleged multiple causes of action, which included negligence, invasion of privacy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, violation of constitutional rights, specifically the 14th Amendment right to control the death images of loved ones. Christopher Chester, who lost his wife Sarah and daughter Peyton in the crash, joined Vanessa as a co-plaintiff. Their lawsuit sought accountability and damages for the emotional distress caused by the photo sharing. Vanessa Bryant was resolute in her pursuit of justice, refusing an early settlement ower that 2 other families had accepted. She was determined to publicly identify the deputies involved, arguing that their names should not be redacted in court documents, as would be the case for others facing similar allegations. Her GHT wasn't just about accountability, it was about setting a precedent, making sure that those in positions of trust were held to the same standard anyone else would be. In essence, Vanessa was ready for this GHT for justice. The legal battle and powerful testimony. As Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit progressed, Los Angeles County mounted a multifaceted defense. Their primary argument was that the photos were never publicly disseminated online or in the media, and therefore caused no significant harm. The county claimed that the images were promptly deleted following Sherry Villanueva's order, and that no evidence suggested they had been posted publicly. The county's legal team also argued that the photos were taken for legitimate purposes, specifically to assess the crash site and determine resource needs, which they characterized as standard practice in disaster response. They maintained that existing policies were insufficient and disputed claims of a long-standing custom of illicit photo sharing within the departments. Perhaps most controversially, in October 2021, Los Angeles County led a motion to compel Vanessa Bryant, Christopher Chester, and other plaintiffs to undergo independent psychiatric evaluations. The county argued that these evaluations were necessary to determine whether the plaintiff's emotional distress was caused by the photo sharing or by the crash itself. This motion stated, plaintiffs cannot claim that they are suing from ongoing depression, anxiety, and severe emotional distress and then balk at having to support their claims. The county's attorneys further argued that the plaintiffs could not sue or distress from photos they had never seen, as the images were not publicly disseminated. Vanessa Bryant's legal team vehemently opposed this request, characterizing it as an invasive attempt to force the plaintiffs, including children, to undergo unnecessary examinations. They argued that emotional distress from the deputies' actions was a reasonable response that did not require psychiatric validation. On November 1st, 2021, U.S. Magistrate Judge Charles F. Ike denied the county's request, ruling it untimely, given that the trial was scheduled for February 2022. The denial was without prejudice, meaning the county could potentially relay if the trial schedule changed. The county also sought Vanessa Bryant's therapy records from 2010 onward, arguing they were central to her distress claims. Bryant's team resisted this request as overly intrusive, further highlighting the aggressive nature of the county's defense strategy. While the legal proceedings were ongoing, the case had already begun to catalyze change. In September 2020, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Kobe Bryant Act into law. This legislation made it a misdemeanor for RST responders to share photos of deceased individuals at crime scenes for non-OSHL purposes, punishable by up to $1,000 per violation. The law was directly inspired by the Bryant case and aimed to prevent similar violations in the future. It represented a tangible policy change resulting from the controversy, acknowledging the legitimate concern over how sensitive images are handled by those entrusted with access to tragic scenes. The federal trial began in August 2022, focusing on the alleged civil rights violations. As reported by local news,
Bryant has filed a federal civil lawsuit against Los Angeles County, alleging that they invaded her privacy by failing to contain the spread of photos from the crash. Bryant testified that she has panic attacks and anxiety over the possibility of seeing those photos. During the trial, sheriff's deputies have testified that they circulated graphic images from on the scene.
Over the course of the trial, powerful and emotional testimony emerged that painted a disturbing picture of the photo sharing and its impact on the families. Vanessa Bryant took the stand to share her experience, testifying about the anxiety and fear that the photos caused her. She described soaring from panic attacks and living with constant worry that the images could resurface online, potentially to be seen by her surviving daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. In her testimony, Vanessa recounted her interaction with Sherry Villanueva on the day of the crash. "I said, if you can't bring my husband and baby back, please make sure no one takes photographs of them. Please secure the area." And he said, "I will. I was afraid of fans or drones or helicopters, people looking to make money on my husband and daughter's misfortune." She expressed her sense of betrayal upon learning that the very people she had trusted to protect her family's dignity had instead treated their remains as a source of entertainment. "I expected them to have more compassion," she tested. When asked about her reaction to learning of the photo sharing, Vanessa stated, "I felt like I wanted to run down the block and just scream, but I couldn't escape. I can't escape my body. I can't escape what I feel." She further described the ongoing anxiety she experiences. "I live in fear every day of being on social media and having these photos pop up. I live in fear of my daughters being on social media and these popping up." Perhaps most poignantly, she tested that the photo sharing left her feeling like she had two choices: try to live my life or end it. Christopher Chester, who lost his wife Sarah and daughter Peyton in the crash, also provided powerful testimony about the impact of knowing that photos of his loved one's remains had been shared. The combined testimonies painted a vivid picture of the additional trauma inflicted on already grieving families. The trial also featured evidence of specific instances of misconduct. There was testimony about a deputy showing crash photos at a bar to impress a woman. Another deputy was found to have shared the images while playing a video game. There were also accounts of a recaptain displaying the photos during an awards ceremony cocktail hour. Additionally, a re-Oshel turned in a department device that was missing its hard drive. Vanessa Bryant's attorney, Luis Lee, argued that the county's actions were reckless and inhumane, exacerbating the plaintiff's grief. He emphasized that the county had failed to contain the photos with no clear record of who had received them. "The truth is," he told the jury, "the county has no idea who had the photos and who they sent them to." The county's attorney, Mira Hashmal, maintained that the photos were deleted, never publicly disseminated, and were taken for legitimate purposes. She argued that the plaintiff's distress stemmed primarily from the crash itself, not the photo sharing. On August 24, 2022, coincidentally Kobe Bryant Day, 8/24, honoring his jersey numbers, the jury reached its verdict. They awarded Vanessa Bryant $16 million in damages and Christopher Chester $15 million for emotional distress and civil rights violations. The jury found that both the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and Fire Department had lacked proper policies and training regarding the taking and sharing of photos at accident scene, which contributed to the constitutional violations. They determined that the Sheriff's Department had an un-Oshel but widespread practice of sharing photos of human remains without a legitimate governmental purpose. Due to a clerical error, Bryant's award was later reduced to $15 million to match Chester's. The verdict represented a significant victory for the plaintiffs and a powerful statement about the importance of respecting the dignity of the deceased and the privacy of their families. Following the verdict, Vanessa Bryant's attorney stated that she was grateful to the jury and the judge who gave us a fair trial. But for Vanessa Bryant, it wasn't just a simple case that would come and go. As a young widow, she was carrying a much heavier burden, one enslaved with heartbreak, legal battles, and the painful task of protecting her family's dignity while still grieving. The aftermath and broader implications. Following the August 2022 jury verdict, the legal proceedings continued as the parties addressed remaining claims. In September 2022, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors approved a $4.95 million settlement for Christopher Chester to address additional claims, bringing his total compensation to $19.95 million. The case reached its conclusion on February 28, 2023, when Los Angeles County agreed to a $28.85 million settlement with Vanessa Bryant. This comprehensive settlement encompassed the $15 million jury award from August 2022 and resolved all outstanding issues, including remaining state law claims, potential future claims by the Bryant children, attorney's fees, and costs. This substantial settlement marked the end of 3 years of litigation. Vanessa Bryant's attorney, Luis Lee, released a statement regarding the settlement. "Today marks the successful culmination of Mrs. Bryant's courageous battle to hold accountable those who engaged in this grotesque conduct. She fought for her husband, her daughter, and all those in the community whose deceased family were treated with similar disrespect." County Attorney Mira Hashmal characterized the settlement as fair and reasonable, expressing hope that the Bryant and Chester families could move forward in their healing process. It was later reported that Vanessa Bryant planned to donate the proceeds from the settlement to the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation, the non-profit organization founded in memory of Kobe and Gianna Bryant. This decision reacted her commitment to honoring their legacy by supporting youth sports programs, the sharing of graphic photos as souvenirs or for cocktail hour entertainment reflects a disturbing disregard for the dignity of the deceased and the privacy of their families. This case isn't entirely isolated. Evidence presented during the trial suggested that this incident echoed prior controversies in Los Angeles involving unauthorized leaking of evidence in cases involving celebrities like Mel Gibson and Rihanna. This pattern raises questions about systemic issues within law enforcement agencies and the need for cultural change regarding the treatment of sensitive materials. The passage of the Kobe Bryant Act represents a tangible step toward addressing these concerns, creating SPECIC, legal consequences for RST responders who share photos of deceased individuals without a legitimate purpose. This legislative change may help prevent similar violations in the future and establishes clearer ethical boundaries for those working in emergency response. The Bryant case also re-echoes broader societal concerns about privacy, dignity, and the treatment of victims in an increasingly digital world. In a time when images can be instantly captured, shared, and potentially disseminated across the internet, the consequences of privacy violations can be particularly devastating. The anxiety expressed by Vanessa Bryant, the fear that graphic images of her loved ones might surface online at any moment, highlights the unique trauma that can result from privacy violations in the digital era. Even when photos aren't publicly leaked, the mere possibility of their dissemination can cause ongoing psychological harm. This case has parallels with other privacy violations, such as the Nikki Katsouras case, where photos of a car crash victim's body were leaked online by California Highway Patrol OCers. These incidents underscore the need for stronger protections for victims and their families in an age when digital images can be shared with unprecedented ease. It's worth examining how Kobe Bryant's celebrity status influenced this case. The high-profile nature of the victims likely amplified public outrage and media attention, potentially influencing the legal proceedings and the size of the damages awarded. While the substantial settlement represents justice for the Bryant and Chester families, it raises questions about equitable access to justice. Legal experts have noted that the rarity of Bryant's legal victory, due to her high profile and the case's visibility, underscores how most victims of similar privacy violations, especially women, children, and marginalized groups, often lack resources or public support to pursue comparable remedies. Vanessa Bryant's attorney highlighted this broader purpose, noting that she fought not only for her family, but for all those in the community whose deceased family were treated with similar disrespect. Her resources and platform allowed her to pursue accountability in a way that many others cannot. While the legal battle has concluded, Vanessa Bryant continues to navigate life after profound loss. In her powerful memorial speech for Kobe and Gianna in February 2020, we saw a glimpse of her strength and the depth of her love for her family.
Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team. We love and miss you, Boo Boo and Gigi. May you both rest in peace and have fun in heaven until we meet again one day. We love you both and miss you forever and always.
During that memorial, she shared beautiful tributes to both her daughter and husband, giving the world insight into the remarkable people they were beyond their public personas. Of Gianna, she said,
My baby girl. Gianna Bryant is an amazingly sweet and gentle soul. She was always thoughtful.
And of her relationship with Kobe, she revealed,
We balanced each other out. He would do anything for me. I have no idea how I deserved a man that loved and wanted me more than Kobe.
In interviews and social media posts, she has been open about the challenges of grief and ending purpose in the wake of tragedy. Approximately 14 months after the crash, she shared with People magazine, I can't say that I'm strong every day. I can't say that there aren't days when I feel like I can't survive to the next. She added, but the love from Kobe and Gigi and the devotion to Natalia, Bianca, and Capri helped me smile through the pain and give me strength. Vanessa has channeled her grief into positive action, managing Granity Studios, a company founded by Kobe, and relaunching the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation. These eOrts honor Kobe and Gianna's legacy while supporting youth sports programs. In her memorial speech, she highlighted Gianna's commitment to women's sports.
And I truly feel she made positive changes for the WNBA players now, since they knew Gigi's goal was to eventually play in the WNBA. I'm still so proud of Gianna. She made a difference and was kind to everyone she met in the 13 years she was here on Earth.
She has received support from friends and family, including Sierra, Lala Anthony, and Pau Gasol, a former teammate of Kobe Bryant. This community support has been vital as she raises her 3 surviving daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. Vanessa continues to mark important milestones and anniversaries, sharing tributes to Kobe and Gianna on social media. These moments of remembrance re-act her ongoing journey of grief, healing, and preserving their legacy. While examining this case, it's important to critically assess the actions of all parties involved. Sherry Alex Villanueva's decision to allow deputies to delete photos without formal investigation raises questions about transparency and accountability. Villanueva claimed this directive was given to prevent further spread of the images, which is a plausible motivation. However, critics argued that this approach potentially shielded deputies from harsher consequences and limited a thorough investigation into how widely the photos had been shared. The destruction of evidence made it difficult to determine the full extent of the privacy violations. Reports that some of the involved deputies were later promoted, including Villanueva's chief of staff, further fueled skepticism about the adequacy of internal discipline. These circumstances raised concerns about whether the department's response prioritized damage control over accountability. The photo sharing scandal generated significant public outrage, particularly among Kobe Bryant's fans. On social media platforms like Reddit, users expressed disgust at the deputies' actions, with one describing the bar incident as beyond twisted. Vanessa Bryant's advocacy was widely praised, with some comparing her to historical gurus like Eliza Hamilton for her strength in protecting her family's dignity. Media coverage of the case was extensive, though not always accurate. The prevalence of misleading search terms like leaked footage demonstrates how sensationalism and misinformation can distort public understanding of sensitive cases. This highlights the media's responsibility to report on such matters with accuracy and sensitivity, especially when covering stories involving grief and trauma. The case surrounding unauthorized photos from the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash site represents a significant legal battle with far-reaching implications for privacy rights, ethical standards for RST responders, and dignity in the digital age. The substantial settlement obtained by Vanessa Bryant and Christopher Chester sent a powerful message about accountability and the value of protecting the deceased and their families from exploitation. Despite misleading internet searches suggesting the existence of disturbing leaked footage of Vanessa Bryant, our thorough examination confirms that no such footage exists. The case involved unauthorized photographs that were inappropriately shared among deputies, raiders, and some civilians, but never publicly disseminated. The passage of the Kobe Bryant Act and the implementation of new policies within law enforcement agencies may help prevent similar violations in the future. However, this case also reveals ongoing challenges in protecting privacy and dignity in an era when digital images can be captured and shared with unprecedented ease. Vanessa Bryant's response to unspeakable loss has been rooted in love and resilience. Through tears and tireless determination, this grieving wife and mother turned her pain into a pursuit of justice. Her stand against the indecent handling of the crash photos sent a powerful message that basic human dignity must be respected, even in tragedy. In fact, the public outrage she sparked helped prompt a new California law making it illegal for RST responders to share such graphic images for anything other than OSHA purposes. Vanessa's GHT was never just about photographs. It was about preserving the honor of the people she loves. By demanding accountability, she protected the memory of Kobe and Gianna, ensuring their images would not be tarnished or exploited. As a mother, she also sought to shield her surviving daughters from experiencing any further pain related to that horrible day. The settlement money meant little to her compared to the peace of mind of knowing she had done everything in her power to defend her family. Today, Vanessa Bryant continues to grieve the loss of her soulmate and child, a wound that will never fully heal. But she also stands as a symbol of strength. In public, she has shown grace attending memorials, honoring Kobe's and Gianna's legacy, while privately she carries the weight of absence. By speaking up and winning her legal battle, Vanessa proved that even in the darkest moment, a broken heart can end the courage to seek light and truth. Her story is one of a devastated widow and mother who, despite unimaginable sorrow, fought for the dignity of her loved ones. It's a poignant reminder that love endures beyond death, and a mother's resolve to protect her family can inspire justice and change in the world. For Vanessa Bryant, the legal victory represents just one aspect of her ongoing journey through grief and healing. While no settlement can restore what was lost, the accountability it established honors the memory of Kobe and Gianna Bryant and may provide some measure of closure as she continues to preserve their legacy through philanthropic work and advocacy. This case reminds us of the profound importance of treating the deceased and their families with respect and dignity, especially in their most vulnerable moments. It also underscores the responsibility of those entrusted with access to sensitive scenes to uphold the highest ethical standards, recognizing that behind every tragedy are real people experiencing real grief, regardless of their celebrity status. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.